So Numbani is a very interesting map. And again, I'm going to break apart quickly these two compositions. And on top of breaking apart those two compositions, I'm going to quickly talk about maybe like the little bit of difference between these two comps as well. So first things first for you guys here, okay? Number one, big thing here is we're seeing monkey comps. So we're seeing partial dives. I know that Lip right now is on Sombra, or Sombra is on Symmetra, but I'll skip ahead a little bit more, and you'll see that he won't stick to this Sim, right? He's going to switch out to the Sombra. So we see a partial dive here, and we see a partial dive on the other side, right? So what's the difference? What are we doing here? Well, we talked about dive with ball. Dive with monkey is relatively the same. The only small difference that you have to keep in mind with monkey versus ball, so ball versus monkey, I think this is a little more obvious, but I will say it. Monkey is slower. Ball is faster. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it's very simple. Most of the time, the space that monkey can take, he needs his team to help him take that space. He cannot take space alone. Ball is able to take space on his own. Why is he able to take space on his own? Well, he's able to take space on his own because he's very mobile. He's very fast, right? If he is in a jam, if there are people shooting at him, he can just run away with his grapple, right? He has a shield that can kind of help him as well. Whereas monkey only has leap. The rest of it is just his regular walk, right? Which is just like every normal character in the game. So it's really hard for monkey to set up or be set up behind potentially or in a great position to go for a dive. He needs to have his team help him set up for that. And on top of that, in terms of ball versus monkey, a lot of the engagements with monkey, you're allowing DPS or maybe somebody else to take aggro. It also relies really heavily on this diva matrix, right? So that's kind of like the big difference with dives. Do I still think we'll see a little bit of the same styles as we saw on Koth? 100%. And I'll explain that in just a moment. So the reason why I think we're still going to see kind of the same sort of thought process, it goes back to looking at this Diva versus this Zarya. So again, Diva, it doesn't matter. It stays the same in these dives. She's still pretty neutral. She can go fast. She can go slower. She's great at both, right? It just depends on the type of style you want to play, and not just the type of style you want to play, but also based off of potentially how you want to counter the enemy team, right? So since we see the Zarya back here, same thing, same premise as ball. We're looking for longer fights, right? We're looking for our Zarya and our, well, we don't have specifically a Zen here, but we're looking for our Zarya to carry in a lot more of these fights, right? Zarya is our pretty much hard carry in these mid fights. We want her to be high energy. We want her to enable my dives. Will this make my dives easier? Yes. Why will this make my initial dives easier? Bubble allows me to absorb a lot of damage. So by having that bubble, monkey can stay in fights and space out, I would say, his bubble cooldown a lot more. So you could do Zarya bubble into monkey bubble, right? You don't need to use monkey bubble mid-air to potentially block break flail. You do not need to use monkey bubble at the start if you feel like you're getting bursted down right when you land, right? You can have that Zarya bubble there. So Zarya bubble allows for you to have a lot more extra support, I would say, without having to sacrifice a character being with my backline, right? Whereas for dragons, in order for the matrix is quite long, but in order for my monkey to get full protection from my diva, matrix all the way through, you need to understand that your diva is going to probably have to step away from your backline and play more towards your front line to enable them, right? So in order for, in terms of aggression, in terms of more support, I expect Fusion to have more support with the dives or be able to hold space longer with this monkey compared to dragons, right? But dragons comp is more versatile in terms of dealing with a lot of threats, right? I would expect for this Zarya to be very weak against this Pharah from dragons. And this goes to the last thing. We see Tracer versus Pharah, both consistent damage dealers. But what's the difference between the two? My Tracer will follow up with these two guys. The Sombra will still lead the dive a lot of the times. Here, my Pharah or my Sombra can lead the dive. Pharah, based off of the damage and cooldown she's forcing from spamming very far away, and Lip still doing that scouting, still potentially setting up hacks. So Fusion might play a little bit faster than Dragons, where Dragons will play more of a map game, and they're going to try to force Fusions to play in a very unadvantageous position and force all of them to be in a corner potentially. Then take all the space, then force them out. So I'm very curious to see if they're going to be able to play the slow game really well with this Pharah. And with that, it's going to require a lot of patience. And it might not seem like a lot might be done at the start for dragons, but I promise you, a lot will be done if you just are patient and you force them to give up space, right? So we see positional hold here, scouting in main from EQO. Carpe's holding the left side. The rest of the team's holding right. I'm okay with holding right compared to holding left. I think this is really strong. If the enemy team tries to move forward here, these guys can look to pounce onto the back line and get a quick, easy kill. Again, I talked about Shanghai. They have to play their map. They have to look to set up a lot of angles. I already see one. I see two. I see potentially three angles here. This is beautiful from them. I love seeing this. It would be great if I could have someone on this left side, but I don't need someone necessarily on the left side. I just need at least 2 points of aggression. Okay. So we see where they are. We see where Fleta is. I'm a little bit skeptical about Fleta's positioning here. I want him to be more maybe here and just spam potentially and then like walk out towards here. I think being here means you can hit more rockets or you can potentially get a kill, but being here is risky because it makes it so that you could potentially die because you're closer to them, right? I don't want you to be super, super close to them until I know that we're cleaning up a fight. I want you to play range and just have your pressure be there. So Fleta's positioning is a little bit scary. Right now it seems like he's okay because Void and Fade are diving right now. So it looks like they're in a decent position. Okay, so they go for a soft dive up top. EQ is in a good position right here. Mono is also in a good position. It seems like Void can go peel potentially for Izayaki. If Izayaki hits a sleep here, he'll live. If not, Void needs to go down. Izayaki might still die here. Izayaki low HP. We see, again, look at this. Three divers here, right? Izayaki instantly goes down just because Void went for the soft dive. Again, I talked about it. Void can't just stay on top of Izayaki the whole time. He has to follow Fate because that bubble is a cooldown that is forced to, well, bubble from Zarya allows him to play more where he wants to. Whereas with D.Va with the Matrix, you need to fly because the Matrix range isn't as long as it used to be in the past. So Izayaki gets traded, but for this, it looks like Lip might be able to trade Carpe here. So they do a trade. Oh, Mono's so low. Can Mono be finished? 1 HP, maybe the dream. He can. Okay, perfect. 2 kills. Great way to kind of start this off. We see Void and Lip getting these kills onto the front line. This is fantastic. Even though Izayaki is down, you have a great trade. You know that you're not going to have a lot of pressure given onto you, right? Specifically as a front line anymore, right? You have somebody set up over here. And if I go back here, right? I have my Pharah set up here. I have my front line set up more so towards potentially point. Now, is this scary? It looks scary for the front line, yes. But I promise you it's not. And why isn't it scary? It's simple, because my Pharah is still spamming them from behind. As long as my Pharah holds this line here, she'll get really good spam from behind them. And eventually these guys are going to have to drop point to contest point, right? And when they do, my Pharah can move forward and get even better spam onto this backline specifically, right? Until then, I need her to be patient. I need her to play more her range and have my front line force the enemy team to rotate down. So let's see if Shanghai will play this kind of disciplined. Oh, Fleta. Oh, no. No, 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 no. So remember when I said that Fleta's positioning is kind of scary? Fleta plays an aggressive positioning. Instead of going wide here, he's trying to go narrow and trying to go close so that he can hit more rockets because he sees that they're up 2. Alarm hits a great sleep and instantly punishes him. Fate tries to go for a dive to help relieve pressure. Fate goes down, and from here, this looks almost like a complete mess. They got in a tick, yes, and they potentially get another tick here. But right now, this does not go well inside of Shanghai. That went from me, in my honest opinion, to Shanghai handily having that specific point to they completely fumbled that point just because Fleta wanted to go a little too aggressive. He was a little too impatient there. Not what I like to see there. Not what I like to see from Shanghai. Now, I'll tell you about the Numbani curse. So there is something called the Numbani curse in my eyes, which is you only have 2 fights you can win on Numbani, realistically. Sometimes 3, but mostly 2. You have the first fight that you can win because there's no ults on the board. It's just neutral cooldowns versus neutral cooldowns. And you have the last fight. So specifically, like, I'll pause here because the gameplay is going on behind me. So I'll back up a little bit and then I'll go this. The last fight, and that will be like more so when there's a minute left on the board. So why do I say this? Well, it goes back to these ults here. So this positioning is very hard to break, as you can tell most of the time on Numbani. Lots of teams struggle on Numbani first point attack, and it's because the general positions that teams are able to hold is very, very strong. And it comes down to this high ground, right? And there's a lot of points, and not just the one high ground on the left, it's the other high ground on the right as well. Both of these high grounds are why teams struggle. And think about it. Think about points that have 2 high grounds similar to this. Dorado's second point comes to mind with this as well, right? Dorado has a similar kind of setup. They have a large open main area or middle area, and the 2 side lanes on the left and right side, there's 2 high grounds. How do you camp against that? Well, you need to negate one of the sides. One of the easy ways to do that is potentially with an ult. One of the other easier ways is potentially you're able to get a kill, clear off one of the sides, and then now you only have to deal with one of the sides in main compared to 2 of the sides in main. Right? So now the reason why it's hard is now they have to try to displace Philadelphia on both sides, but at the same time of displacing them, you have to deal with the ult economy now from Philadelphia. And most of the time you win the first fight, you're going to be ahead in the ult charge. So that's why I say first fight is really important, and potentially the last fight will be your last opportunity, because the enemy team, if they haven't cycled their ults correctly, you have that small opportunity to utilize your ults to win that fight. So as long as I see Philadelphia cycle their ult correctly, this should be quite an easy win on the side of Dragons in my eyes. So what do I want to do here if I'm Philadelphia looking at my comp versus Dragons comp? Well, I don't have a D.Va and I don't have a hit scan to shut down this Pharah. So if Fleta's going to play really aggressive here, I want to shut him down again. I would invest this EMP to shut down this Pharah. Whoever goes overly aggressive, that's who I look to shut down. Whether it's Izayaki and the front line, or it's Fleta going too aggressive on that side. Whoever comes closest first is who I'm ripping the EMP on, and I'm just going super fast against them. Okay. Let us see here. All right. I look at positioning here. Fleta has just conked. I saw Fleta conk there, and the front line from the enemy team is playing too safe. I'm going for these guys, just like EQ has decided. They should instantly die. He gets a bonus too. He didn't even know Lip was here. Lip gets EMP'd as well. Oh, that just shuts down the fight. They weren't able to kill Fleta there, but that EMP is allowing them to kill DJ Gone. Now Fleta's not going to be able to play as aggressive as he wants here on the side. This could be probably, or should be, I would say, a fight win for Philadelphia. I wouldn't want to commit to this fight. Just back up. Let me look to see to get another fight. That's one huge ult out of the economy pool from Fusion. I just need to set up for another fight if I'm Shanghai, because I have a lot of ults online here. So that's good. They decide to back up. They're looking to set up again. Like to see that from them. Now, in terms of Shanghai again versus Fusion, I want to see this flank come through. If Philadelphia are going to play stacked here, I could look to walk in main with my tanks, bait the enemy team to go aggressive, and then go for an EMP on top right or onto them if they try to drive me main. Right now, it seems like Fleta is giving up on his opportunity to potentially go for that flank. So their plan actually might be Suicide Barrage and then go for an EMP later in the fight. Let's see what ends up happening here. So we see that Philadelphia is aware about this EMP, so like they have their monkey holding separate from their Zarya. Reg is scouting one way, Ana is holding further back. They're doing a great job of splitting themselves up from this EMP so that they all don't get hit by it. Hard dive onto the Ana. I don't like that EMP. The EMP only hits onto Alarm. That's... Even though like it looks juicy to hit that EMP onto an Ana, I don't recommend hitting that EMP onto the Ana. Why? Well, even though Ana has nade and she has sleep, cool. Why not the break? Why not the Zarya? Zarya has bubbles, which will enable the rest of the enemy team potentially. Break has rally. If you track that Break had rally here, hitting the EMP on Break is gigantic compared to the Ana. Even though, yes, she could maybe hit it onto this monkey here and they can trade. If I hit the EMP onto this Break, she has no rally. Potentially the Zarya too, she has no bubbles and she's half HP. My Pharah can just come in for a zoom by and just instantly barrage. Even if she trades her life, she's still able to get two key kills, which is way more important than trying to just hit a singular Ana. Rush DMP, in my opinion. They're able to kill Mono from the peel, but grab Sticky come out. They're able to capitalize on the two divers, and it looks like it's still going even. Shanghai's throwing a lot of fights, or a lot of alls out here. Same with Philadelphia. This could potentially be a fight win, because it's even right now. I see Sombra and Monkey going down, where Fusion have Monkey and Tracer going down. Lee Gon also went down in this fight. They're trading back and forth here. Alarm has gone down too. The big issue here is this Zarya is still alive. She has low charge though, so it is very possible for Dragons to be able to clean up this fight. They still have a barrage available if they need it. If I'm Shanghai, I need to get back to point as fast as possible so I can clean up these kills. Huge hack from EQO. Fleta went very far out. EQO is in a good position to hack Fleta. They completely deny the potential to get kills onto the point and snowball that objective. And now Shanghai are forced to do another reset. The positive side is we saw a lot of ults used from both sides, but Dragons are able to come out with this ult cycle advantage, right? So now what does it come down to? Well, it comes down to this barrage and to this Valk. If I'm having troubles trying to displace on both of these sides, I would honestly say send Pharah to barrage and suicide on one of those sides and Velk later in the fight. Why? When I'm Velking, I can look to still enable my team to push up after maybe Pharah gets a kill or two with that barrage, and then I can go for the res later on in the fight while utilizing my heal beam, like the AoE from the beam or damage boost from the beam to clean up kills. I'm hoping I don't see them popped at the same time, because I feel like if I see them get popped at the same time, it's going to lose out on about a quarter of its value worth. And that's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see quarter of that duration wasted just with a fair barraging. Okay. On the side of Philadelphia, I'm hoping to see Mono go really aggressive and create a lot of space with that Primal. He needs to look to disrupt that Ana, or specifically now Kree from Lip here. Lip deciding to go Kree now too, just so that he can peel a little bit more against these flankers or this front line here from Philadelphia. Do I like Kree here? Not fully, because they do not have a Brig. They have no Brig on the field, so it's going to be a little bit harder to play Kree here. He'll add more peel to that Ana, but I would assume he's going to play more solo-oriented for himself to get value than for his Ana. Okay, they're Velking early at the fight. Oh, my bad, guys. I pressed the wrong button there. Okay, there we go. Like I said, Velk goes out. I don't think he needed a Velk, and why do I not think he needed a Velk? Could have easily just gone towards this high ground and flown up there. And if he got doped, then he could have popped the Velk. He's kind of being very cautious about his positioning and being potentially jumped on. So Fleta opens up with the barrage. He's able to get one kill. He doesn't even trade his life, it looks like right now. Now he does from that sleep. Key sleep onto from Alarm there. Able to get a great kill. He played towards backside here, so he doesn't get into vicinity of that barrage. Well played by him. Flash sleep combo looks like came out to sleep Mono here. He's not using Primal though. This is actually really big. If Mono wakes up and he has Primal, he could potentially turn this fight with EQO. Primal goes out. We see the backline, specifically Alarm and FunnyAstro trying to posture forward to assist the people towards point side, specifically Monkey and possibly EQO, and also to contest the point here. Right now, Carpe is able to touch this point. Backline should walk up from Shanghai here. Okay, Mono is juggling. Shanghai are on the point. This is a little bit scary if I'm Izayaki here in Lip, because Lip, sorry. If I'm Lip and Izayaki, I need to walk forward here so I can take this space. I want to try to take this space instead of being stuck here. Because if I'm stuck here, that means my front line either needs to take this fight when I get dove, and they should lose that fight, or if I get dove here, my front line has to counter dive me here, and that means less pressure on the point, and it allows Philadelphia to be able to retake space against me, which is not what I want to do right now in this situation. Okay, Lee Jae-gong goes down here. Tanks go down. They don't even go for the dive onto the backline. Instead, they look to finish up and follow up on the anti-nade. They're able to get 2 there, and that's just enough to get a lot of value. Wow. Shanghai had a chance. The backline seemed, in my opinion, to move really, really slowly, so they weren't able to fully take that space that they needed to ahead of time. Now you have one fight for sure. You have a Noon, you have Nano. If I'm Dragons here, I'm looking to Nano probably my Monkey. I could Nano my Diva here, but I think Monkey is better because then I can get the Primal, and Primal could potentially win me a fight here. I will start off potentially with a Noon as I walk in either main or top to zone, and then look to go for the engagement there. I think that's the better way to approach that. Now you have a Brig, so you can play around this Kree as you carry a little bit more. I expect them to play more around their Kree. On Fusion side, you see that they have Hoppa now on the mech, so on Diva. I'm expecting them to play a little bit faster here. They have Rally, they have Nano. I want them to set tempo here compared to Dragons. So it's a battle of who's going to set the tempo. Is it going to be Fusions or is it going to be Dragons, or are they going to do it at the same time? So it looks like Fusion's playing really slow right now. Okay, tempo is set right now. It looks like kind of by both teams. It's like a mixture. Nano went out at the same time. Monkey dies came up practically around the same time. One play is that we're looking to see specifically Mono capitalize on a backline there and kill the backliners. Unbeknownst to him, Ana and Kree went under with Diva. Here, though, I'm seeing that Izzyaki went for the Nano onto Lip. I don't know if he meant to do that. It looks like he was. I just want to double check. Did he mean to Nano Lip or did he mean to Nano Monkey? Oh my gosh, it looked like a panic Nano to me. He just like, I don't think it's a panic Nano, but it's more so like he nanoed Lip maybe to get a one shot through the body with the Nano there, but EQ was able to get out fast enough. I don't think the Nano's worthwhile here. Nano's not getting as much value. We have Noon to zone out on point. They're playing point zoning out. We see that Fate went towards the back, or sorry, not Fate. Mono went towards the back here, right? He and Carpe are looking to kill Lee Jae-gong, who is in main alone, acting as a bait. Now the rest of the team from Shanghai have meet up with their tank, and they have to get value with this Noon, or potentially kills. Philadelphia playing this really well. Lip kills Carpe, but we see that we have control of one high ground. We see control of another high ground. All they need to do now is play around specifically the rally there. Mono will come back. Nano will expire a little bit, but now they have the rally to clean up this fight. If they're able to get tank ults on in time for Shanghai, they might be able to clean up a fight or potentially disrupt a fight and create chaos, which will go favorable for Dragons. But I'm not sure. That's going to be that's a very big if. Okay, it looks like they're able to trade Alarm. Mono's able to get Lip. This is not good. Your carry is down in this fight here. If Ana goes down, it's looking even worse because you have a rallying Brig on point. You have Diva still alive here from Fusion. You have Monkey still alive here. You had a Diva rallying on point to contest. You only have 3 people alive here on Shanghai. You have Monkey, Diva, and Brig. Or sorry, not Brig. And Tracer, sorry. And then on Fusion side, you had Funny, and then you have both tanks and a Sombra. So it looks like if Dragons can clean up fights fast or kills fast enough, they can win this fight. But if not, based off of the number advantage, Fusion should be able to win this fight. So you're looking to see if the tanks or Flutta can go large with potentially getting kills. Fate already gets 1 kill onto Astro, but Void gets his mech forced before he can get unhacked to bomb. So now it's looking a lot more calm, cool, collective for Fusion as long as they're able to juggle the point together and just clean up the kills on the point. You see Void goes down, stick onto Fate there, Fate goes down, and the point is unable to be continued to juggle. So again, Fusion had 2 fights there for sure. That last fight was a little bit rougher, I'll say, to be honest with you. But I would say they had 3 fights they could have won there. They could have won the first fight, they could have won the second to last fight, and they could have won that very last fight. But if you look at it, based off of their movement, specifically the first fight and the second to last fight, their movement was either a little bit too fast or a little bit too slow, right? Backline didn't rotate fast enough in the second to last fight. First fight, we have the front line, specifically Fleta, playing a little bit too aggressive when they have those kills instead of living and just playing the spam and kind of utilizing that space. And then the last fight is just simply, I think they misused the nano straight up. An on the fly mistake, I would say, by Izayaki there. And then they didn't play around Lip, which caused them to end up losing the fight because they didn't play to enable their Kree carry. So we see some funny things now. We see a ball coming out from Shanghai. We see a Roadhog coming out from Shanghai. We do see them still favoring this Pharah here, which I like this Pharah. I think it's really good. I think Fleta's a strong Pharah player. I think putting him on this character is really good, and I think Pharah can do a lot of work here. Pharah was notoriously run here before other heroes came into the game, a lot of the times on defense, just specifically to hold the first point, because it's very hard to displace this Pharah. You either have your Pharah hold to kind of go around for a large flank there, or you have your Pharah hold towards main so she can consistently pressure people, right? Pressure either from here if they go main, right? Or she can pressure towards here if they go up top here. The Hog is very interesting. I assume they're playing Hog, or Void's playing Hog specifically instead of D.Va, because he expects for them to go maybe a hard dive, or he expects for them to go Monkey, right? And he might be doing this so that he could peel safer for Izayaki, because when I look at this comp, Ball and Sombra are self-sufficient. Like, they can be by themselves. They can go solo, right? They can keep themselves alive by playing by packs and stuff. Here, right, Pharah will always have Mercy to protect her, right? And vice versa. Mercy will have Pharah to protect her. So they are able to enable each other. I think that they're having the Hog there, even though D.Va is, in my opinion, still a much stronger peeler and, like, overall, in my opinion, much better. I feel like with Void can hold space a lot more on his own with Vape, but at the same time, he's able to, compared to D.Va, one-shot almost the Monkey pretty much, especially based off of Izayaki hits a nano or like a direct comes out, anything like that. As long as he hooks in headshots, I believe Void can pretty much almost insta-gib with a little bit of help. So they're looking to potentially create a little bit more zone and give a buddy to Izayaki that allows them to insta-burst the Monkey, would be my guess here. And again, the Hog can hold a little bit more space than the D.Va in theory because he has his own healing device as well. So I'm very curious to see how this Hog will play out. As the side, on the side of Fusion, they have both the Hanzo and the Genji. Genji maybe to follow up with the dive. Also, Hanzo to potentially force out people, right, on one side. He has a lot of good damage that can force out somebody from a side here, right, as we saw Lip kind of go do a little bit earlier. And then we have EQ on the Genji. The reason why I think Genji, compared to something like a Tracer or an Echo, or not Echo, a Tracer or a Sombra, I think EQ just wants to go for a Nano Blade combo so that they could just win one fight. In my eyes, Fusion are looking at this as, we just need to win one fight. Let's win one fight. So they're going to use the Hanzo to brute force their way off in this first fight, and they're going to use the Genji potentially as a later fight win condition with the Nano Blade. So I'm curious to see. If I'm them and I'm Fusion, I'm telling my players, or as a player, I would be, we need to play for Nano. Just play around Nano and potentially Blade, or just play around the first Nano. We will get Nano first. Then let's look to be really aggressive with that Nano. Let's see what ends up happening here. So we see that Shanghai is playing space quite aggressively. Izayaki is playing the left side by himself. Lip is kind of farming a little bit. He went back real quick. Void is playing towards point to anchor point. Flood is playing the right side. Ball will be roaming. Okay. Ball on left. Just a lot of poke on this main. Okay. So right now I'm seeing Nano get built up by Fusion. The plan looks pretty much close to the same. Nano's at 86. It's going to pretty much be online here in a moment. Dragons have a lot of ults coming up though, even though Fusion got first Nano. Fusion has a small window. They have a 5-second window to make something happen here. Why do I say 5 seconds? If this EMP comes online, which I think Lip can farm it fast enough, this push should be shut down. If they have a barrage, this push should be shut down. Because they're closing the distance onto an EMP. They're closing the distance onto the barrage, which will make these ultimates have much more success, right? So if these ults come online before they execute this nano play, I really think the nano play is not going to do much to the side of Shanghai. Because remember, they do also have a lot of peel, right? They have Void on Hog. Okay, sleep hit. Wow, Fate just instantly goes down. Okay, this makes it a little bit harder now for Dragons. Ball will still come back really fast, so you still have a short timing here. You need to go for a play and force something with this nano or get another kill with this nano in order to potentially make this valuable. Okay, EQO went for an underdive. Void was doing a really good job reading this. He was ready to block it. He goes for the dash. He sees Lip. He goes to pressure Lip. And right here, this is great from Shanghai. You look at this, right? All of Fusion played up here. Great. Lip recalled using a different color. Lip is up top here. Oop, that's not a different color. This is a different color. Lip is up here, right? We have Hog playing in this little vicinity. We have Fleta playing main. I just want to double check Izayaki position. Okay, Izayaki is more so in the building there. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Izayaki's in the building, but I have a feeling Izayaki will come out this way, right? And Fate will also come this way. We look at this. This is 4 angles potentially online on the side of Dragons. Fusion has given up majority of the map against Shanghai. This is what I like to see as Shanghai. I like to see you play the map here. I like to see you not forced and panic into a fight. You don't have to. You can give up still 2 ticks. Play the tick game. Play to get some ults online. Play to look to potentially force them to commit to an angle or to slowly have them lose to an angle. And right now, boom. This is a mistake right now I see from Philadelphia. All 6 of them on Philadelphia were up here. I see 5 of them dropping to kill a solo Hog. I don't need 5 people to drop to kill a solo Hog. He slept. All I really need realistically is maybe an anti from him and him. Maybe not just an anti. Maybe instead I just have him, him, and him. The rest of you should be holding space, right? Carpe is the only one holding top here. Instantly, we see that Izayaki peeks through main. We see that Fleta decides to go top. We see Lip decides to go top. Instantly, Carpe goes down. And again, this goes down to you're giving up space. Philadelphia, you have a pick. That ball is going to come back soon. I need you to not just run after one of the 4 angles that are there. I need you to have 1 or 2 players go for that angle, and the rest of you need to hold space. Because if you're all going to give up all the space that you just got just to get 1 kill, it's not going to be enough. They're going to win from the angles, from all the space that they have, right? So Philadelphia decide to go to a small corner of the map, try to kill that Hog. They end up killing the Hog, but they lose out on the rest of the map, and they force themselves in a tiny area to have to get back out of, right? These little doorways that are very hard to get out of, and they lose the fight from there, especially from that pick that they got from Carpe. Great play from Dragons. They didn't panic. They didn't even give up a tick on the point. Philadelphia, you're playing a little bit too fast. You're playing a little bit too much like you're scared, like you have something to loot, or too aggressive, like, oh yeah, let's go. Too hype. Like, calm down. Remember to play the map. Remember the basics, right? So now, if I'm Fusion, I did build for that nano, yeah? Yes, I did have a potential to win the fight, but look at the time I wasted to get that nano. It's 1:45 now. I have a nano up online. I have a dragon. I have a blade. I have a rally. I'm hoping to gosh that I'm able to either, 1, get out maybe a few ults from them, and then after getting some ults, try to win a fight by brute forcing my ults. Or if I'm Fusion, I'm really hoping, EQO, you can go clutch with this blade. If you can go clutch with this blade, the game, I have nothing to worry about. But again, like, you're putting a lot of faith in one player to try to execute a play where it's already hard to execute plays on this, especially when you're behind. Because there's not a lot of good blade targets here. Who's your best blade target? An Ana. The rest aren't really the best blade targets. And now we look at this, right? We see that it's 1:40 in the game. Shanghai have probably guessed that they have a nano blade here. Izayaki positions himself all the way back here by car. The rest of Shanghai are going to posture towards point, respectively. They're trying to make it so that maybe they think that Izyaki's back here hiding from the blade, trying to create distance. Instead, he's hiding by the car, right? So they might go for the blind dive, they might not. Let's see how they decide to do this. Mono goes for a dive onto the point. The rest of Fusion is going main. This is kind of scary. I can't have you go main because now mines are coming out. Mines is completely blocked off everybody through main. Hanzo can walk up here a little bit. Genji might be able to walk up here. But I have now left my Monkey and my D.Va isolated by themselves over here into 4 people. This is not really a good idea here from Philadelphia. They decide to back up. Mines are used to buy time almost in a way. So yes, I didn't get any kills with the mines, but realistically, I bought more time, which is really good for me as Shanghai. I don't have to do anything. And they still don't know where Izzyaki is. They didn't see Izzyaki on the right side, but he could have been hiding the mini that whole time, right? They have no idea. So now, if I'm Fusion, I have those 4 ults still online. I need to do something. It's a minute 20 in the game. I need to use my ults because they have just as many ults online as I do. So we see that the backline decides to go through under, right? Hoppa is over here already. We see the backline rallying out from under. We see the tanks or the front line going through main to potentially go for a dive here. They might be trying to dive a Hog here or dive the Mercy. Hog is sleeping, so I would say Hog is the best guess here. I don't agree with this rallying out right away. Why don't I agree with that? Well, we're not even fighting, right? Brig is walking right now. How much time did he waste with the rally? He wasted a solid 2 seconds with that rally. That doesn't seem like a lot. That's a lot of time to waste with the rally. And to add insult to injury, has he swung at anything yet? No, he hasn't even swung at anything yet. So he hasn't even been proccing Inspire. So he hasn't even been able to brawl yet. He needs to be able to brawl. Don't start the rally right away and waste 3-4 seconds of that. I need you to start so that maybe you use a second of it to get a little bit of extra armor, and then the next second, so 2 seconds in, I'm ready to brawl. I'm ready to fight, right? We see the split come out. EMP lands onto EQO and Mono. Mono goes down. The backline is set up now onto point. Hoppa is now on point as well, right? We see him here. He gets the nano. EQ has gone down. Committing this nano from alarm, probably not the best play. Why? I have 2 people already down. My dive is down, right? I shouldn't be committing more ults here, especially after that EMP. I would have made the call, or I would hope that my players would make a call to wipe. Why? Because I've seen them now use an EMP, and I can go into this next fight with a Blade, a Dragon, and an EMP potentially here, and maybe I can force another ult if I run at somebody here. Maybe I can force a Velk. Maybe I can force a Barrage, right? Instead, they decide to nano Hoppa, hoping that maybe Hoppa can get some kills. He's able to finish off a low HP Void. He's able to kill Fleta as well. So potentially, maybe I'm wrong here, right? They're clutching it up. They have forced another ult for ult. They get a Velk for this. And now Philadelphia are pushing forward as a 4-man together. Great job from Li Jae-gon to look to potentially ping-pong the point. He reses Void here. Void gets an insta-kill. This is really good if you're on the side of Shanghai. You're getting a very chaotic fight. Hog's able to get a nice pick. You're delaying this a little bit longer. I'm looking at the time and I'm Shanghai. I'm saying, I haven't been able to give up a tick yet. It's 40 seconds left. I only had to use 2 ults to win this fight, where Philadelphia, they used 3 key ults. They used a Nano, they used a Rally, and they used a Dragon here, right? So now I have a Barrage here to potentially trade, right? I also have Whole Hog to force them away from point or to peel for my Ana. And my Ana has Nano here, and I will be close to mine, so I might be able to use mines towards the later part here. Now, my big thing here is Fusion are going all in with this pocket. Funny is going Mercy now. He's going to go Mercy to pocket EQO. Carpe is now going Tracer because he needs to go a fast character, right? They need the mobility here. They have tank ults pretty much online and a Blade. You need to go hard with this Blade, or you need this bomb slash primal to get value. Either Mono needs to knock somebody in the backline, Bomb needs to kill 2 as they walk forward, or EQO needs to pop off and kill multiple. Right away, Hoppa's able to get a bomb off, but trade. Again, Fleta gets a trade. This is really good as long as Fleta can get res. This is really, really good from the side of Shanghai. They just need to be able to create that space so that he can get res. Dragon Blade's coming out. Whole Hog's coming to peel for it. Blade getting very low value. He was able to get the dash onto Fleta. That's it. Just to check Lee Jae-gon's position here real quick. So he's inside. He won't be able to potentially go for this res here. As for Funny looks like he's able to go for the res. If they're able to deny this res, Shanghai should be able to do very well in this fight. Res goes down. This is actually crucial. So now that trade does not mean as much as it did before because Funny was able to get that res. That could be game winning actually. Ichigo goes down. Alarm kills Izayaki. Where's Izayaki at? Oh, wow. How did you get over there, Izayaki? You were up there last time. Did you get juggled? Okay, Izayaki safely on the top right. Oh, no. No, that's a feels bad. So see how like Izayaki has sleep here and he's over here? So I feel like Shanghai thought that he wouldn't go for the res. You see him scoped in trying to shoot the tracer here. If he just knew this was happening, he could have slept Mercy and completely denied this res and potentially have set up a kill to kill FunnyAstro. That's devastating. Straight up. I didn't even notice that in the overhead. Oh, now he's getting knocked in by Mono as well. Like, this is not good. He misses the sleep onto Mono. Now he's stuck main with Alarm. Alarm kills him. This is like insane. So even though we have Carpe has gone down, EQ has gone down, both supports have gone down, or both DPS, sorry, I should say, on the side of Fusion, they still have both their tanks online and both their supports online. They can win this longevity fight as long as they're able to finish up kills on the point, right? Void is doing a great job of like continuously trading, but Fleta is not here yet. Fleta is not here, and everyone from Fusion is still here. They just need to look to clear this point again. Void needs to die. Alarm needs to stay alive. As long as they can clear this point and Alarm can stay alive and Funny can stay alive, they'll be in a good spot. FunnyAstro goes to Alarm. Hoppa is able to kill Void here as well. Sleep onto Fate. Fleta is forced to touch. Actually, Fleta is not even forced to touch. Fleta should have waited a little bit longer. Give up the 2 ticks. You don't have to touch right away. Don't get your recall forced, man. Gets his recall forced early. This seems so chaotic here by Dragons. Like, don't worry about giving up a tick, man. Like, give up 2 ticks if you need to. Just focus on winning the fight. It's OT. You don't have anything to prove here. I don't understand why they just didn't give up the ticks. Like, just give it the ticks, man. Fleta goes down because he's forcing these ticks. Lee Jae-gon goes down because Mono is zoning both the Sombra and the Mercy there. He gets a kill. EMP lands onto 3. That's a huge EMP. But Alarm has now built up a nano, and they're getting these kills fast enough. Oh, no, no, no. Dragons. Dude, honestly, that came down to Funny's res. Funny hit the best res of his career right there. Gets it onto Hoppa. Izyaki's not able to stop it. He just didn't know it was happening beside him. He gets knocked in. He dies. If he survives potentially in that fight and Mono doesn't juggle him in the backline, they win from longevity. They win from them getting heals and good positioning. And then to add insult to injury, they're able to potentially still get one good last fight as long as they play the tick game properly. They don't play the tick game properly. They rush to try to touch the point when they still haven't even given up any ticks. And Fleta goes down. Then at that point, Monkey is zoning. You're not creating enough space for your backline, right? Like, again, like fumble after fumble for Shanghai, but incredible play there from Funny there. Incredible. Like, I'm speechless, as you can tell. That's incredible play from Philadelphia at the end there. They go for that last little pick there, right? With regard to the Pharah, or the Mercy, sorry, I mean. And they do it initially to pocket the blade, but they get value outside of pocketing the blade. They get value from the res. That's nuts, to say the least. Like, that should have been Shanghai's in the bag for sure. No doubt in my mind that should have been Shanghai's map. That's crazy.